Welcome to another episode of Red Lotus Life. We are so excited to be here. As always, I have my beautiful co-host and co-creator, Sara Elizabeth
Thank you.
Hoffman, and together we create Red Lotus Life. This is where we provide resources and tools to create a life that you love after abuse. And it's just wow. Like we just barely finished up. I say we because you and I just finished up the Say Yes to Soul challenge. So we were here every single day. You saw us for a minute and then we had to take a little bit of a break just to integrate the challenge. But now we're back to share about the challenge and also to announce that the challenge is still open until the end of March because so much amazing stuff is happening in there. So yeah, Sara, so excited to be back after our little break.
Yeah, me too. I definitely needed to take space to be able to sort of process and integrate myself personally. And I'm even still I'm very much in the energy of the challenge right now, as well as our clear that's happening over in the CSSL membership, and just feeling into and reflecting back upon the depth that not only have we witnessed, but I'm actually feeling the deepening myself and just really finding the clarity and the little piece of the gold nuggets. And I'm actually getting ready to share. I've actually had it prepared and definitely been documenting daily, but I'm getting ready to share my days 29 and 30.
Yeah, amazing. I can't wait to see him too. Yes, for anyone who wants to see, we actually documented our own journeys this year too, which was really fun. So if you want to follow us, we're on all the socials, um, Instagram mostly and Facebook for me, and I think the same for you, right? Do you have TikTok or anything like that?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, so you can see that. We'll have that in the description below, but we literally every single day of the challenge, we documented what it was that we were moving through and our intentions, our whys. Huge things happen every single year that we do this challenge, and it did not disappoint this year either. It's also really fun too. I like it because we don't do emotional clearing in there. So for those of you who don't know us, we are spiral practitioners and womb spiral practitioner. I'm advanced practitioner. Sara Elizabeth is a certified spiral practitioner and womb spiral practitioner. And we do emotional clearing. It's an emotional clearing modality. But what's fun is that in the challenge, we actually don't do that and we still receive such amazing transformational results. Like it's literally timelines because we're doing it as a group and it's fascinating. We go to the
Yeah,
depth, like all the depths.
yes, all the depths. So this is where all of the synergy is created. And also, what Lori and I have done really, really intentionally is giving you, by having given the daily tasks, is those step by step things that we do every single day that end up creating the transformation. But it's also the same tasks that we would be doing daily as we're integrating our emotional clearing sessions.
Mhm.
So, and those things, and if you're actually participating in the challenge with us, and we're so grateful if you are and have been, and also would still like to join us, um, what you find is that there is so much nuance when you are taking those daily steps and witnessing the energy and the shifts and the alignment that comes with taking those steps. And then when we do add the emotional clearing, it just sort of it creates. I really love that word synergy for emotional clearing as well, because when you're taking all of those steps added with the emotional clearing, it does create synergy as we're releasing the emotional conditioning that has been held within our DNA.
Yeah, it's so crazy cool because one thing that I do love is when we get the validation and confirmation of the containers that we hold and create. And that's one of the things that we do whenever we start or begin anything. Sara Elizabeth and I always have this huge intent of being in a safe space, but also a space where you can do it as surface as you'd like, but also just deep dive to the depths. And her and I, we deep dive every single time. And so for those of you who do work with us and you're in the membership, you've also done the challenge for a few years now, it's like it you go with us and we love it. You go to
Yeah.
the depths.
Yeah, and it's very important to us. This is, again, and I know that we've said it many, many times over and over again here on the YouTube channel and in every other space that we are in. We do this work with us because we don't believe in having anybody else do something that we aren't willing to do, not only first, but right alongside with you.
Yep, exactly. So it's in Say Yes to Soul that we actually do this. So
Mhm.
it has been crazy cool this year. We had some new people join us, which I love. If you're not in the Telegram chat and you're doing the challenge, we'd love for you to be in the Telegram chat because that's where you get to connect with us personally. And it's just been so beautiful to witness what happens because especially when people are new to us and they're just like, oh my gosh, so this is what we're doing and this is what's happening and all of the awareness that comes about. I mean, we mean it when we say you can be in a different place in 30 days. And we're at this point now because we left it open until March that people are actually doing it again. They took us up on that invitation of, okay, so now do it again. And so people are doing it again, only this time now, the next 30 days, they're refining what already transpired in the first time that they did it. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, this isn't your typical challenge, yet it's so easy to participate in because it is just little teeny tiny tasks that you do every single day for 30 days and you move mountains just by taking a little bite out of the mountain every single day. And I love that this year, in the chat, a lot of people were sharing a lot of what it was that they were moving through, a lot of their aha moments. We got to celebrate a lot of people. And I wanted to take this time to just highlight one of those stories because, gosh, she's just so amazing in every way.
Yeah, this was a person who is a returning, um, let's see, how do I want to say it? She's
Alumni.
returning, yeah, alumni. Yeah, she's currently in the Say Yes to Soul membership with us. And also, she completed the challenge with us last year for our very first Say Yes to Soul challenge. And it has just been incredible to witness her start to finish from her intention initially and where she is now.
Mhm.
Literally, she has jumped timelines, changed trajectories in the meantime, come back into alignment with things that she never thought would come into alignment, and is just doing the thing. And it's just beautiful to witness.
I know. It's just way too cool. Because that's the other thing is that there's so much room to move and grow and expand and evolve in these 30 days. And there's no right or wrong way to do the thing because you're saying yes to soul. So it's very
Mhm.
customized to you. So this person, she's so beautiful in every way. She even was going, I'm sitting with my intention because there was so much that was moving for her. And I can't remember, did she stay with her intention or did it evolve?
It evolved actually.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. So she's actually still doing it. She's still doing the challenge, but I wanted to just highlight her because wow, like where she came, like where her intent in the beginning, and she already knew, okay, I'm gonna go deep because I already know from the previous years like what happened. And so she's like, I'm gonna go deep, here's my intention. And then she ends up creating this ripple that has like it is full on healing her family line, like her ancestral line, her generational line, in a way that has been amazing because I'm also sitting here going, and this is with no emotional clearing in this challenge.
Right. It is with no emotional clearing in the challenge. Um, not only did her intention shift and change, it actually became a much bigger vision than initially thought. With the trajectory and the space that we've been able to hold, as well as those others of us in the container, we've been able to create this space where, yes, we're moving through the tasks on a daily basis, but also there's no right or wrong. And everyone has their unique way of moving through things. And so, whether or not it was completed in 30 days, the space is being created for those shifts and changes to actually happen and the vision to continue to grow.
This is why we say it's not super surface. Like we get I just want okay, so let's just dive into it. So basically she wanted to open her business. So last year when she was in the challenge, she had all these ideas on, oh my gosh, I want to become, I think she wanted to become like licensed in different things. So it wasn't like she was working for a company and then she realized, oh my gosh, I need to be an entrepreneur and open my own business. Right? Isn't
Hmm.
that what happened last year?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'm going to preface this with that I don't really know a lot about addiction. I know a ton about detox. I could talk to you about detox all day long. I don't know a ton about addiction, but she was, this story has to do with addiction. And that's why I sit here and go, it's been so beautiful to witness what transpires, I guess. Like it just blows my mind what happened. So she wanted to open a business. So this year it was all about opening the business. And then as she went throughout her the different days, so we go through like intention and we go through like why and we go through the creating the ripple and all those things. And as she went through each of these things, she started to witness the ripple that she was creating. Like she realized, oh, this is not just a business. This is so much more than a business. This is
Yeah.
like, in fact, I think, didn't she say global? Oh yeah, global. She talks
She's
global
been
all the
saying that.
time. Yeah.
She's been saying that since last year.
Yeah, yeah. Like this is global, but she didn't quite know how to do that. And then all of a sudden she got the entire download on exactly how, like what it was and how.
Not only how, but how big. And even the how has continued to shift and change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been amazing to watch that and to see what happens as we release conditioning, even going through the challenge, how those blocks, I think that's something that's pretty common for everyone is they realize they're not happy where they are with different things, which is why we always say, just say yes to soul, but they're not happy with where they are, but they don't really know where to go. And then they also don't know how to get there. And so it's been cool to see her why deepen
Mhm.
more and more every single time.
It has been really cool. And what I love the most is the fact that because she has done this work and she has actually been doing the emotional clearing work as well, but she has healed. She is releasing her own conditioning. Now that is being I am very much in the energy of the clear right now.
Of
So
say yes to
words,
soul.
yeah, I'm saying it's a soul. So words are a thing. But anyway, she's now watching that ripple out into, you know, the generational aspects, and now loved ones are able to get the healing and the support that they are needing due to their own conditioning. And then that, because she started out doing that healing work, has rippled all the way into now the bigger picture, the vision, and her purpose.
Yeah, because you and I were talking before we hit record on this. We were talking about how addiction is a cycle and it does go
Mhm.
through the generations. Um, and addiction can be anything. It can be anything from a sugar addiction, food addiction to, drug
Relationships.
addiction. Yeah, relationship, sexual. I mean, just you go, it's all things. Like everyone has a vice, right? And so for
Yeah.
her, this to be focused on that and for her to see all of the patterns playing out throughout the generations and then to continue to see it ripple through, and that she's the cycle breaker, which is always the hardest one to be, I think, that chain breaker, right? And
Mhm.
in an ancestral line.
Yeah, and in fact, that is one of her really big passions and purposes is to be working with the ancestral conditioning. And I love seeing her deepen her work and becoming even more and more passionate about it, and now bringing that into the business that she's creating.
It's been so good. She just keeps continuing her education on it.
Mhm.
So this is what's kind of cool. So now here she is. She's like, okay, this is my intention. And it keeps evolving into a deeper and more expansive intention as she's witnessing what's happening. She's doing the challenge at her own pace in her own way. And then she's realizing this ripple, and she gets like, she gets the download exactly like, okay, this is what I need to be doing. This is how I'm going to do it, all the things. And now she's at the part where she's out there, because we have action parts in the challenge. So now she's out there in the part where she's taking the action. She's realizing, um, that the resources that she is looking for are not really there. So she's wanting to, like, she's looking for grant writers and all kinds of stuff. I mean, she is going big, she's going global. She's like, we're breaking this cycle of addiction out there. And the ripple that she's creating is so much bigger than herself. It's so much bigger than her family. It's so much bigger than the friends and the community. I mean, she is now realizing, oh, it's this entire earth. It's this entire planet. It's time to break the cycles of addiction on this entire planet and raise the frequency and vibration of the planet. Raise the consciousness of this planet. And this is how I'm going to be doing it. So now she's out there like, okay, these are the resources I need. I need a lot, and I need it fast because this stuff needs to happen now. But what she's realizing now is that a lot of the resources aren't out there. Am I right on this part?
Yeah.
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 And so now she's realizing, oh, I can go and get more education. I can get more education on exactly how to do this and start doing it for myself. And
Well, and not only that, but also with the realization that the resources aren't there, it's now the taking of responsibility of self. You know, if there's not enough money, there's not enough resources, then how do I get it? How do I get it if the resources aren't there? And now creating, calling in that manifestation and that bigger vision.
yes. And I think this is where a lot of people stop, right? They get this
Hmm.
block, and then they're like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is my dreams, my aspirations, all the things. I'm so motivated and passionate. And then they get a block, and then they go, oh, okay, I guess it's not for me. And then they stop. But this
Hmm.
is what I love about the people in Say Yes to Soul. This is what I love about the members in there and all the people. It's like, no, no, we get past these limiting beliefs. We keep going, because there's always, when you're talking trajectory, like
Hmm.
there's a block there, but that doesn't mean we stop. That means now it's okay. What are the options? There's other ways, because if it's a desire and it's something that you want, like your desires are your compass. So, okay, how do we get there? How do we go around it? And that's what I love about this. That's what I love about her, is that she's like, no, I'm not stopping. She's
Yeah, and that's
determined.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She is determined. She is determined. And I want to go back to when there's a block really quick, because this is where we get to do the deep dives. And this is where emotional clearing really, really comes into play, because this is where we get to release the conditioning around whatever the limiting belief and block is that's saying, oh, no, like it's our ego going, oh, this can't happen.
Hmm.
Not going to happen. I'll just give up.
Hmm. Yeah, and I love it because this is so our jam. This is what we do all day, every day, because it's always an energetic imprint of something that's happened in the past. And usually it's in the 0 to 7 years old, right? It's usually something like that. And we continue to see like like, why do we keep stopping? Why do we stop going after what it is that we really want? Why do we feel like we can't get it? Why? like the belief, right? The belief of, oh, okay, I guess I'll just give up now. It was never meant for me.
Hmm. Yeah, and I really love this because, we talk about, okay, our vision is so big. We want to heal the global, we are global. We want to heal the planet. And of course, like not only her, but us too. We know that as just us two or just her, like we can't actually accomplish that on our own. But
Mhm.
without the audacity of the vision, we're not ever going to create anything,
I
right?
know. Yep. I mean, my mentors right now are Ed Milet and Andy Frisella, and they sit there and they say, they're like, man, if you're not getting made fun of for your vision, it's not big enough. And so I sit there and I go, oh yeah, every time I was sharing it with you. And I'm like, oh, check, I think we've checked that box because yeah, our vision is huge.
Hmm.
We are here to create change. We're here to create impact. And we're also here to help others do it as well, which is why I love highlighting this story.
I know exactly. Um, yeah, we are here to do that, and we are here to and this is a perfect example of why we like to highlight the story because it's all about creating that synarchy. If we're not loving one another and supporting one another and what they're desiring to create, then that's where the hierarchy starts to be created and has been created. And we know this story for centuries and generations. But when we are all supporting one another, then we all get to win. And this is how we do get to create the global impact.
Yep. And it all comes down to healing those ancestral and generational wounds. It's like healing the ancestral wounds so that we can now heal the generations, right?
Mhm,
And it's
mhm,
so crazy cool to witness that. We witnessed it with her. Um, her loved ones are now getting the help that they need, which
mhm,
is amazing. Um, we've witnessed it in our own. I mean, I talk about it all the time about how I'm seeing the generations not only above me, but that are alive, they're still alive, but the ones below me in my children, it's like I can't, like we are completely different people. We're completely different family. It's just,
mhm.
I don't know, it's just amazing. And until you can experience what we're talking about, it's a little difficult to wrap your mind around it because I think a lot of people, when we talk cycle breaking, a lot of people will say that it'll never happen,
Not
especially if there's
possible.
deep trauma.
Mhm. Yeah, it's almost like there's like people just give up and and that's really sad. That is really sad. When we can find the love and we can find the compassion and find solutions, be able to undo the conditioning on a cellular level, we're then creating those new neural pathways, and it is possible. We have seen so many other methods and modalities that have not been able to reach the depths that we have been able to reach
Mhm.
and actually create the change that not only we are desiring to see, but others who we are working with are desiring to see. And yes, it starts within our families, and we've seen it start within the families of those that we're working with. But that is when the ripple gets created because each and every single ripple, each family member then goes out doing their own work in the world. And it just begins to exponentially increase, right? And that is how we create the ripple.
Yeah, I mean, and that's to say it with even you and I, right? Like,
Mhm,
I never in a million years thought I'd be doing something like this. I was always a great client. I was always, um, like I had my own career path. Never in a million years did I think this was going to be it. But that's what we've been finding is that whenever we can truly break that cycle at a cellular level, and for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, go check out bioenergetics.
mhm,
Whenever you're able to literally release conditioning at a cellular level, and then you go, that starts to heal the ancestral. wounds and then it starts to move forward. We literally see that in our families and our loved ones who are living living today. And it's like it just blows my mind because when we start to experience that, now we want to go out and help do that, right? I mean, like that was what it was for me. And then now we're seeing this also with this member. She's doing the exact same thing. And it's just um I don't know, it's just so beautiful because there are a lot of modalities out there. There's a lot of modality, and when we're talking modalities, we're talking everything from like talk therapy to like Reiki or anything else, or massage therapy or body work. I mean, we are talking all of it. When we talk modalities, we always talk about the five bodies, right? The mental, emotional, energetic, physical, and spiritual. So even like religion being a modality in my mind, right? But I've never seen healing in the way that I have here, which is why we're super excited to start bringing it into the social work industry. Mhm.
Yeah, I've never seen it in the same way, and especially in combination with a few other modalities. And that's not to say that other things never work or that they aren't helpful, because they are. I have just never seen the same impact that we have seen created, especially in some really specific spaces. And it's one of the reasons why I became a spiral practitioner to begin with, because I have had experience with family members who have suffered from addiction. And my desire initially to become a practitioner outside of my own experiences and the healing from my own personal conditioning was because I saw how well it worked for me, and I wanted to see the same for those people who I could see suffering.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm the same, and yeah, it's not to say that other things don't work because they do. They do. It's just I've never seen it to the depths of it.
The depth and the amount of time is much, much less.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy cool. So I'm excited to start bringing this into the social work industry.
Hmm.
Um, we became ACE providers for the ASWB so that we could start to bring the tools that we know and that we use, and we've had such good success rates with, I mean, even just with ourselves, right? I just go back to myself and oh man, if people knew me before, like you guys have all seen the changes here, and it's like I don't know. I'm living a life that I never thought existed, to be honest.
Yeah. It's a life of sovereignty, it's a life of creativity, it's a life of abundance, and not in the typical way that you might think of abundance, but joy and gratitude and um, just even having the ability to show up like this, like we do.
I know. I'm like, I'm in comfy clothes because it's like 40 degrees outside. And that's what I like.
Authentically.
Yeah, like it's just showing up authentically. And I feel like that's the other thing too, is that everything that I feel like I experience are all the things that you can't put a price on.
Yeah.
Like the peace. Like there's just peace. There's like I'm just very much grounded in who I am. You and I were talking right before we came on, and I was like, I will never go back to that life. Like I can't even comprehend. I look at that life, and yes, I know that the experience, right? The experience of everything, but I go back to the life prior to of being, I was that cycle of being in abusive relationships and very violent ones and extreme ones, and like,
Hmm.
I can't even imagine that, and I thought that was normal. I do remember that, like, I just thought that was normal. And when I say normal, I mean, like, after you've been with somebody for a while, I just figured, "Okay, this is the kind of stuff that goes on." And
Hmm.
yes, toxic and yes, unhealthy, but also this is just kind of what happens as you've been with people for a while, And now I just go, wow, I have been married for, I think we're getting ready. I think, I don't know. We don't keep track of our anniversary, but I'm like, okay, I think we're going to be celebrating 18 years together, 17 married, I think 18 together. And I am blown away. Like, it's such a different relationship that I'm in. And
Hmm.
I've been married and in this relationship way longer than those other relationships. And so I'm just sitting here going, wow, I never knew that a marriage or a relationship like this could exist. I didn't know a life like this could exist. And that's sad. That's sad that that's what I thought. And it's because of the conditioning and the patterns and the cycles and everything else that I just continued to find myself in these situations.
Yeah, and when that is what is modeled to us as normal, then we don't know any difference until we do. And so
Hmm.
and so for me, and my story is a lot different than yours, but no, I can never ever go back to that person. And for me, it is finding that inner peace. You mentioned peace, but it's finding the inner peace that no matter what is happening in my external circumstances or in my external environment, um, that inner peace is still there. I can still stay centered. I can still stay in alignment. And, you know, when we learn to really be in our sovereignty and really set boundaries, it really doesn't
Hmm.
matter what environment you are in because you know that you are going to be in your power and that your boundaries will be received because you are so much in your power that that is what radiates out. That is what is felt.
Hmm. Yeah, 100%. And it's been beautiful to even witness you in that too, because we've known each other for a long time. We've literally
Mhm.
witnessed each other expand into this and this embodiment, which, yeah, we're breaking cycles. Like, there's no going back, like
No
for
going back.
either one of us. And so that's why I get really frustrated whenever I hear people who are experts in the field of domestic violence or abuse or anything, really anything that there's that cycle, right? And they say, yeah, well, there's not a lot of hope or whatever. And these are people that are in the field, right? They're in the field, they're working with all of um, with everyone who's experiencing this and they're helping and I get that. I totally get that because that was me. I was that client. I was the client that was maybe not necessarily at that point in my journey, really, I just wasn't in relationships at that point. And that's what was happening with me. I was like, I'm breaking the cycle and just wasn't in relationships.
Right. Mhm.
And now it's like, or not now, but I can see why people say that, because they do see it does take someone at least 7 times to leave a relationship. And it does take, like, it's very rare that anyone actually is able to break cycles and whatever that is whether it's addiction, whether it's domestic violence, abuse, all the things. But when we're able to heal at this depth, it's we're breaking the cycle. There's not even a thought. And I'm witnessing it in my own children.
Me too.
Hmm.
Mhm. And that's the most beautiful aspect of it to me. That's the most beautiful ripple is that we do get to see it rippling out into our children. And is not only is the way that their trajectory would have gone shifting and changing, but they are actually learning their lessons much more quickly because we are doing the work. So they're going to always have their own journeys. We all come into this world with our own mission and purpose and journey and our karma and our dharma and just all the things that we talk about. But when we get to see them shift and completely change their trajectory, because they are educated. Some of that, I know, in my case, I have one who has been very hungry to educate herself, you know, but also because we're releasing on a cellular level, that ripple is experienced generationally,
Mhm.
and they get to feel it, but it's not years.
It's not years. Like for me, it was
It's
years.
different. Right.
Yeah. For me, it
Because
was
the
like half my
conversations,
life.
yeah, the conversations didn't happen back then. Like the awareness, I mean, the emotional intelligence and the awareness did not exist for us,
Hmm.
from my perspective.
Hmm.
It's just
Yeah.
that's a sign of the consciousness of the collective is raising.
Hmm. Yeah, it's been really cool. It's been really cool to see all of this because honestly, you know, it I love what you just said about they are obviously their own people and they have their own minds and their own hearts and their own path, right?
Hmm.
But for them to they are learning the lessons so much quicker. And I mean it's a lot of things. It's show, we're modeling it for them. But
Hmm.
also it is this like I don't even tell my kids what's going on in Say Yes to Soul.
And
And
we
then they
still
come and
see
they
it.
tell me what's going on in their lives, and I'm like, this is what's going on in Say Yes to Soul. This is what we're focused on. This is what we're working on. Like this month, we're in spirituality. The emotional block was criticism. And it's like, holy cow, the criticism just keeps coming up for everyone. But the interesting part is that they're making different decisions now. Like and they're telling me that. Like they're telling me like
Mhm.
normally I would be doing this, but instead I'm doing this. And they are breaking patterns without
Yes.
them even knowing what's
Yeah,
going on.
exactly. And I can always tell when the ripple is being created because that's when I get a phone call and there's usually like some kind of a heightened emotion that comes with it, and then comes the shift, and it's usually not very long after. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't make it up.
No, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. It's just so cool. So we're just really excited. We're excited about everything that's happening in Say Yes to Soul. We're excited to share what's happening in the challenge right now. If you are like you've been hearing all of it. I mean, you can see all of it. We showed up for 30 days straight every single day, like seeing it. So if you're like, oh, this sounds like something I'd really want to do, like yeah, please join. It's not too late to join. We just had somebody else join. She had joined in the beginning and then there was a death in her family. And so she thought, well, maybe I can't keep up. And so she actually left the challenge for a bit. She just rejoined again. So
Yeah.
yes, you can even still join our chat at this point. Like you can still join. We want to celebrate you. We want to support you in all the ways that we're able to. We want to dive to the depths. Like that's our jam. That's what we love. We live off of that, that part. And we would love to, gosh, we want to see your journey here. We want to see you do whatever it is that you would like to do. We would love to like it will shift and it will change just like it did with the story we were sharing before. And
Mhm.
we would love for you to experience that. Let's see where you could go with it.
Yeah. And you know, that I keep coming back to when I first heard about this work, because we can sit here and try to explain it all day, and the words may never land. But when you hear the words emotional clearing, when you hear the words the spiral, like if that resonates with you in your body, then that's a really good indication that it might be something for you. That was my experience.
That was mine too. I didn't know anything about anything. But I was like, oh, I like, yep, this is for me, whatever's going on. So we would love for you to join the challenge. It's free. It's going to be
Mhm.
open until the end of March. We have an amazing client portal where it has tons of resources and everything else. That's where you'll find the link to the Telegram chat. So we encourage you to sign up for that part if you're going to do that. It's also here on YouTube for a little bit longer. Still not sure how long it'll be here on YouTube. I don't know if this will be here till the end of March. So if you for sure want to participate in the challenge, I say sign up so that you have access to the client portal. Yeah.
Yes, please do join us if you feel the
Yeah.
call.
Yes. Yep. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Mm.
Yeah, we're just, gosh, so much is going to be moving. I mean, people are still doing it. They're still joining. So we get to share with you for the next 2 weeks what's happening in there. So
Yeah, so excited. I can't wait to see how
yeah.
everyone has expanded.
Yep. Okay, so like, share, subscribe, share this with a friend, do it with a friend. We actually have people that are doing it with family members and friends and children. Their children are doing it with them. I mean, from small children to adult children, they're all doing it. It's fun to see that too. So
Mhm.
anyway, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week and really excited to share more because there's some really good stories and
Mhm.
experiences. Mhm. Okay.
Mm.
Bye.
Bye.